This podcast was produced on the lands of the Cubby Cubby people. We pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and thank them for how they have lovingly cared for and preserved the land, natural resources, and bush medicine in which we are inspired by today.
Hello and welcome to the Students of Natural Health podcast. My name is Dana Laura. I'm a student naturopath from Australia and I'm going to be your host for this episode. Now, joining me today is the lovely Olivia. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. I'm so glad that we finally get to share our conversations with other people. I know we've been emailing back and forth a little bit and you've even sponsored the show. So thank you so much. It's time we heard your story. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with my favorite question that I always start with. How did natural medicine find you?
hmm This question gets thrown around a lot when you're at college. Like everyone wants to know kind of what got you into naturopathy. And I feel like I don't have like a really significant story. Like a lot of people at college would have significant health transformations and things like that. But mine really just stemmed from my interest in natural health. And when I was a teenager, I remember my mom got really into nutrition. And so I started getting exposure to that. And I would really take an interest in eating like a clean diet and like looking at all of my beauty products and the ingredients I was using. And I followed a lot of nutritionists as well at the time. And one time I was reading my favorite nutritionist, Lola Berry. I don't know if you've heard of her before. She was kind of popular at the time, but she had a blog. And on the blog post, she mentioned a naturopath. And I'd never heard of it in my life. And so I started Googling, like, what's a naturopath? And saw that it was like herbal medicine, nutrition, wellness, lifestyle, like all the things I was interested in. I was like, wow, this kind of sums up my whole personality, not gonna lie. So I was, yeah, super interested in it. My mom ended up taking me to a naturopath as well. And so I got like a deeper understanding of what they did and what they looked like. And I kind of like towards the end of school, I was thinking about all different types of careers, like being a teacher, psychology, like all those kind of things. I knew I wanted to work in health. That was always a priority for me. But I kind of forgot about naturopathy. And then when it was time to like, okay, I want to go to uni, like what am I going to study? I came back to naturopathy and I was like, okay, this was a huge passion for me and I really like wanted to explore this. And I'd kind of just got wrapped up in mainstream career paths and things like that. So I did some work experience with a naturopath in Sydney and then just was like, I'm gonna dive in. And the first year I just enjoyed like every single subject. So I was like, hey, I think this is where I'm meant to be. And I kind of just kept following that urge. And yeah, here I am. So it's a long-winded story, but it wasn't, yeah, it was not very transformative. It was more like just following my intuition, I think.
That's beautiful. I love that. Like, good on your mum for getting us
Yeah,
into it. Shout out to mum.
definitely.
But also, hang on, you went and did a work experience with a naturopath. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, yeah. So my mom was following an naturopath. Her name's Anthea Calderos. She's based in Paddington, well, she was at the time. And my mom messaged her and was like, "Oh, my daughter just finished year 12. Like, can she come do some work experience?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, come along." So I had family in Sydney, stayed with them, and I did a 1 week. It didn't really involve too much. Like, I didn't get to sit in on consults or anything like that. I got to blend a few bottles of herbs, but I just chat a lot with the receptionist and learned a lot about the workings of her clinic. Being in that space, I think I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, I want to explore this. I
And
definitely recommend that to anyone who's like, even if you're studying, I think doing some kind of work experience would be a good opportunity.
I know it's something that they start putting into the courses where you go and you find like a 20-hour work experience, but it's interesting to hear that you've got that on your own. That's actually in my experience from talking to a few students, it's quite rare to have that. So
Yeah.
that's freaking awesome. Really cool. So tell us a little bit about your study journey. Where did you go to uni?
So I went to Endeavour College in Sydney and I was intending to study on campus. So I am from the country, from Wagga. I don't know if anyone knows where that is, but regional New South Wales. And so I really wanted to move to Sydney, and I just wanted like the college experience kind of thing or uni experience. So I moved up there in 2020 and started studying, did about 2 weeks on campus, and then COVID hit. So we moved to predominantly online, and I moved back home around that time. But then in second year, I did move back to Sydney and I did complete the rest of my degree. Most of it was online, but there was a few on-campus subjects. So yeah, I was based out of Sydney, Endeavour, and I studied full-time for 4 years. I was very motivated to get it done, and luckily I could make that happen. So yeah, just kind of locked in and got it finished.
Girl, that is crazy. And
Yeah, not many people commit to the full time, or if they are doing full time, they might take a bit of a break here and there because it is a huge workload.
yeah, because the Endeavour workload, it's not just 4 subjects. You do like anywhere between 6 and 8, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes we're doing 6 or 8 subjects. I don't even remember. I've kind of blocked it from my brain. But I mean, those subjects are meant to be lesser workload, but they do kind of tend to feel a bit heavier. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I did it. I think I kind of enjoy studying to an extent. Like I don't like assignments, but I don't know. I think I just found a way that worked for me and just made it happen.
You obviously did really well though, because you've got some little accolades under your belt. Like you won Student of the Year, I believe it was as well.
Yeah. I'm a very driven person, so I think I'm an overachiever, and when the ATMS Student of the Year Awards applications came out, I applied for that because I had been inspired by another student in my class that I'd had done clinic with for a little bit, and she had won the award the year before. And she had done volunteering overseas in Fiji. So in my final year of studying, I went to Fiji for 2 weeks and did a volunteering experience. And I also was a past leader, a peer assistant study session leader in my final year and half of my third year as well. So I kind of had a few things, and I was inspired by her winning the award. I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. I'll just apply. And yeah, it was a great experience. Got to go out for dinner. All my family came and got to meet some people in the industry. And yeah, it was good.
Beautiful, beautiful. And sorry, just rewind a second. This volunteering experience you did, I know you've got like a little free webinar that you did where you kind of talk a little bit more in depth about this. Can you just give us a little bit of a taste tester about what that was like for you?
So I do have, yeah, a masterclass on my website where I talk about my whole study journey and yeah, Fiji and different study tips as well, and then talk about the products that I have to help you study. And I also have a blog post as well on my website that I can provide the link for about the Fiji trip. But yeah, I was really inspired by my friend who did it, and essentially this program is open to any health student. So whether you're a naturopath, nutritionist, doctor, nurse, physio, anyone who has that background in health. And you go over to Fiji. There are two people who run the Fiji program, so a husband and wife, and they've been doing it for a really long time. I think probably up to 30 years. I can't don't quote me on that. I don't know the exact time frame, but they host volunteers out of their house, and there's a whole heap of different projects going on at once. So like in teaching, in childcare, in animal support, in construction, like different industries. But they started a nutrition and public health project because of the prevalence of type 2 diabetes. I'm pretty sure it's 1 in 3 Fijians have diabetes, and it often goes undiagnosed because they don't have regular health checks and they're very afraid of going to the GP. They don't have access to doctors like we do. So it's very common for people to get type 2 diabetes, and then it progresses into even worse where they have to be amputated because of their complications. So obesity, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes are very common. So they started this project where we go in and just do general health checks. So this is taking their blood pressure, taking their random blood glucose reading, and providing nutrition education as well. So this is sometimes the first time they've had contact with someone who to do like measurements on them, and they may be flagged for high blood pressure and all those kind of things. It was, yeah, very eye-opening. Some of the readings we were getting were absolutely crazy. Like these people had no symptoms and they're sitting there with very, very, very elevated blood pressure. So we would then refer them to the hospital. So we were just kind of that middle ground where they could actually get the support they needed because otherwise they weren't necessarily going to go and seek that support themselves. Because of the introduction of the Western diet, they eat a lot of sugar, and you go into the supermarkets, everything is processed, but then the marketing gets them as well. So it says it's healthy, and they believe that. And so they're drinking like liters of juice every day when we know like that's too much sugar. So yeah, it was really inspiring and it really just helped me feel like, oh, I actually have skills I can share. Like when you're in fourth year, even you might feel that you're not confident enough to be a practitioner yet and you don't know everything, and that's completely normal. You're not going to know everything at any point in time, but being able to go over with skills that were actually transferable and I actually being able to interact with people and make a difference, like that was really cool. And it was, yeah, such a beautiful place as well to go and explore and meet amazing people. The people in my group were great as well. So we had like a team of, there's a physio, a nurse, some medical students, and I was the only naturopath as well. And our coordinator is a naturopath too. So yeah, it was a really great experience. I definitely recommend it for anyone who wants a holiday, but also like wants that life-changing experience. And you can fundraise. Like I ask family and friends to support me as it was like a volunteering trip, and there's, yeah, definitely ways around it.
Yeah, beautiful. Rewind a second. You smashed through the degree full time. Not many people have done that. Did you have any like specific resources or techniques that really like helped you through the degree in terms of like, I don't know, that can be burnout or study resources or anything like that?
I think something that really helped me was double speed. So, listening to my lectures on double speed, I rarely went to live lectures, and I was someone who had to watch all of the lectures. Like, I wouldn't let anything go unwatched. Like I wanted to make sure I got everything. So I would, yeah, watch them in double speed, take notes, and that took up a lot of my week. Yeah, just kind of taking in that information. And then I would procrastinate my assignments until the very last minute. So luckily I would always kind of block out the weekend that an assignment was due and like just lock in and smash it out. Start on Friday night and finish on Sunday. So I don't really recommend that, but like that was my way of getting through it.
There's
And
definitely terms where you've got to do that for sure. Me last,
yeah,
you'd literally block 2 days out and do an assignment. Whereas, early in the degree when I was doing one subject, I would take all friggin' term to do the assignment, just
yeah.
get over it and chill out. But yeah, it gets to a point sometimes where it's no, do or die, let's go.
Exactly. I'm a perfectionist, so I procrastinate a lot and I couldn't really start assignments early even if I needed to. So that technique worked for me doing things last minute so I could just, yeah, not have to stress about it too much, or well, actually no, that's a lie. I was stressing, but I wasn't procrastinating as much as I could have if I had more time. And then for exams, I would just set up flashcards pretty early on using things like Quizlet and really to start to practice my flashcards every day. So across the week, I was still working part-time as well. So I'd fit in my part-time hours, like my social life, like admin and life admin, all those kind of things. But then every single day, I'd probably be focusing on one subject and just getting through the content of that week. Sometimes lectures would build up, and so then you would watch them all in bulk. Yeah, it's kind of hard to think back. It's starting to become far away, but I would just use a lot of my organization skills to keep track of where I was at and make sure that I was watching all the lectures. I rarely did additional readings because I didn't really have time for that, but I would make sure I did the content at least and then find ways to prepare for the assessments so that I was actually learning the content.
Yeah, beautiful answer. So, how long ago did you graduate then? How long have you been in practice for?
So I graduated at the end of 2023 and I started my business in 2024, which I didn't really, I think I decided halfway through fourth year that was what I was going to do. and you really just don't expect how much work it's actually going to take. So the start of the year 2024 was really just like delving into business and my very lengthy to-do list, getting everything sorted. And then it kind of reality hit that it was a lot harder than I intended and expected. So I did a lot of business coaching, and also I did a TAFE course. So I did a Certificate 3 in small business and entrepreneurship, I think it was. So I did that. I used the self-employment assistant program, so I definitely want to plug that here.
Yeah, okay.
So through the government, Centrelink, you can get it for 9 months if you're a small business owner. So if you're eligible for that, you can basically get an income every week in the middle of you setting up your business, so you can replace like having to rely on your business financially.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I utilized that in my first year out of college and also spent a lot of time learning business skills because there's just not enough time in your degree. Like everyone says they don't teach it enough, but realistically you don't have time to learn it. So it's not really about the course structure. It's more you need to dedicate time after uni for business skills because you've went to uni to learn naturopath skills and now it's like time to learn those. So there's a lot of TAFE courses out there. Some of them are government funded or government subsidized. Mine was free through the self-employment assistance program. I also did private business coaching as well, and then that just really helped me to set up the foundations properly. But it was a lot of mindset work because it doesn't happen overnight, and some people do get overnight success, also that they show on Instagram, but everyone's journey is different. And so for me, it definitely was at least 18 months of a lot of hard work and a lot of building foundations and not really seeing any return. And just the mindset part of it is the key thing here, really working on that and getting all the support you can to build a strong mindset so that you are strong in your mission and your vision and know where you're heading and know that like this is what you want to dedicate your time to so that you can see the returns in the end. Because if you're lacking in your mindset, it's going to be harder to keep going. It's going to be easier to give up. And also, you're going to be not going to be attracting people into your space if you don't have the right mindset either.
Yeah, that's really great advice. And thank you so much for being like candid about that. I think we kind of sometimes can gloss over that and go, oh, it'll all work out. And oh, you just like, you just figure it out as you go. But like, it's nice to hear, no, there's a reality that like you can't just like jump out of uni and expect to know all the business things. It is definitely more learning to go through.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What is a business skill that you think is most important to start cultivating as a student already? Now, knowing now that you're not necessarily prepared in a business sense to just jump straight out there.
hmm So marketing is everything, even though it might feel icky to start with and might feel like it goes against your values or whatever. Essentially, marketing is how you're going to get business. And so you do need to have marketing skills in some shape or form. They don't have to be gross selling skills kind of thing. Like it can really just be about sharing who you are authentically, like sharing parts of yourself that you feel comfortable sharing online and building that trust. Like that's what you need to do is be building trust with your potential customers. And that's how people are going to buy from you in the end. They're not going to just see your name, no photo, and decide, oh, I'm going to invest up to like $200 to come see you. Like they need to get to know you, whether that's by posting on social media regularly, whether that's getting out into your community and doing free talks or putting your flyers out there or just even working in a health food store and talking to people. Like you actually do need to physically put yourself out there because at the end of the day, you are the brand, like your name, your face, unless you're part of a team, like you are going to be the brand of your business. And so you need to find a way to be comfortable sharing that. And it doesn't have to mean you have to share every single part of your life. You can create that persona that feels comfortable to make people like you, essentially. Not everyone's going to like you, and you have to deal with that too. But marketing skills, if you can start cultivating those in your third and fourth year, that's going to be game changing. There are so many free resources out there. Like once you start delving into starting your own business, you'll find that a lot of practitioners have put out a lot of free stuff. People like Tammy Guest, Jules Galloway. um, Chantel Ryan, I think from the health, Legally Healthy as well. She has free resources. So everyone's kind of got their own take on like starting a business guide. So you can download all those for free. And I'm a very savvy person. So starting my business was very much on a budget and I did a lot of things using free resources. So that's a really good place to start. Also, all of the practitioner companies have a lot of resources. This can kind of play into study, particularly in your last year when you're learning about clinical conditions. Like all the practitioner companies will put out their own educational pieces, like clinical guides, handouts, protocols, those kind of things for each condition. So there is a level of bias because they're trying to sell you their products, but essentially they'll bring together a lot of research and you can use it to your discretion to help you navigate different conditions and build your own kind of resources for treating people.
Yeah, amazing. Are we talking about like activated probiotics and like MediHerb and stuff like that?
Yeah, yes.
Ah,
So I
amazing.
actually put together like a very comprehensive list because there's like hundreds of companies, or maybe not hundreds, but there's a lot. And so this is in my clinic dashboard that I have on my website. So it has all the resources that you can use for clinic to help you find the information easier. So you don't have to spend hours and hours making your own resources. You can utilize the ones that are already done for you. So you can get that on my website. Also has like a lot of support for getting you through clinic and staying organized as well. And I also have a Notion dashboard too, which has study skills based resources more so for learning anatomy, physiology, chemistry, nutrition, all those kind of things.
Amazing. That sounds like a good launch point too, because I know a lot of us at who are currently at uni are sort of like, oh, I don't know what I should be like focusing on into like to get ready for clinic. Like we're all in that sort of pre-clinic phase where we don't know
Yes.
how to how to even navigate that. So it sounds like it's good to have like a guide to help you through the subject and help you figure out what you should be focusing on.
Yeah, yeah. I have a masterclass for preparing for clinic on my website too, to help you in that stage. But also, when I was mentoring students as a peer assisted study session leader and also in my own private study mentoring programs, I really focus on getting students to utilize the resources that are already available to you rather than spending hours and hours taking notes. And I think this is also ties into how I got through the degree is that I stopped taking so many notes, which I know is the generic advice we get told, but it really is important because you can always go back and look at things in your lecture slides if you save them in your computer somewhere or on a cloud-based server. You can save your lecture slides. You can always go back and reference them for later. But a lot of the resources are already existing on the internet that you can quickly look up. Things like anatomy that is not going to, go anywhere. You can always look up how the nervous system works. You don't have to have it in your own words, in your Word document kind of thing.
Yeah.
So from first year to last year, you can always be finding free resources online using your own critical thinking skills to make sure that it's a good source and it's trusted. But utilize that and save it into your file so you can keep looking back on that rather than spending hours building your own stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I learnt that the hard way because I spent the first year like making my own Notion templates. Like I made beautiful tables to put all of my information about the vitamins, all of my information about the different hormones and stuff like that in. And it wasn't until I started looking at like pre-done Notion templates from other students where I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, like complete waste of time. I like maybe not because it was helping solidify the knowledge, but more so like
Yeah,
I had that realization for myself that you don't need to handwrite every single note. Like I've never looked
yeah,
back at my notebooks
I know. Yeah,
ever.
neither.
Like, but now that I'm sort of going at it with a plan of like almost creating like a database based on the conditions and building
Yeah,
around the condition rather than
yeah.
like trying to have everything so separate. Like you're trying to find a way to make it flow on from each other.
Mm.
So yeah, I feel like that makes a lot more sense, and it's nice that you people like you are sharing it so that we don't have to learn it the hard way in three years down the track.
Yeah, I'd utilize the database idea. Like I share this a lot in my program. Just yeah, really focusing on building your notes around each clinical condition because I don't go back and look at my anatomy notes or even my nutrition notes. I go back and look at the condition notes and like how to navigate different conditions because you can always go back and look at that foundational knowledge on Google or in a textbook if you need to get that understanding. And as time goes on, it will become second nature to you. It's more about like how to actually treat a condition. That's the information you're going to hold on to and want to look at as regularly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you. What about like for business? Did you have any like resources that made you go, oh my gosh, this like made everything click together? Or I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
not as
Yeah.
dramatic.
Business coaches are great. Finding someone that you can trust and you really gel with. So I'd been following a fellow naturopath for a long time. Her name's Hannah Ann, and she developed business coaching from her successful business. So I really found I related to her content. She's very similar to me. And so over years, I like built trust with her. And then when it was time that I graduated, she launched her business program, and it just happened that it all fell into place, and I actually ended up purchasing that and doing 6 months of mentoring with her in her mastermind. So it's different for everyone and depends on your budget as well, like what you can invest. But that experience for me was really pivotal and it was really important. Like it all just kind of it was meant to happen kind of thing looking back, because she gave me so many skills that helped me to develop my business. She worked on the strategy of running a business and marketing and all those kind of things, but she did a lot of mindset work, and she also works with human design. So I have a very spiritual side as well. So she kind of helped bring that out and help me to navigate my own journey and find my own strengths and build my mindset and build my resilience as well. So kind of like she uses both the mindset and the strategy to help you become a better business owner and actually find success. So if you can utilize someone like that and invest in someone, I highly recommend it, because the returns for me have been, yeah, definitely worth it.
Amazing, amazing. And it's so important to find someone that's aligns with you like spiritually as well, like you were saying. Like there's no point in going and finding mentorship with somebody that you don't connect with and that doesn't make sense for you or they can't say it in a way that makes sense to you. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of mentors out there that you can invest in, but don't don't just go with someone because someone else has done it. Really just get to know them yourself and choose someone that's, yeah, related to you.
Have you got any standout patient stories that you'd like to share that has helped boost your
Ooh.
career or change your career or just made you stop and think for a minute?
Yeah. I quick tip, I definitely recommend in your Notion dashboard or wherever you organize everything, keep a list of all the feedback you receive, because it can be so easy to focus on like people who aren't making progress or the things that you're not doing as well as you would like. And so it's important to look back and actually see the wins there.
I
So
love that idea.
yeah,
And you'll be able to identify patterns and things you need to work on.
exactly. Yeah. So I'm hoping to one day launch my business dashboard, which is going to have every, because I have so many systems of organization. I love organizing. I love creating Notion dashboards. And so I spend a lot of hours doing it, and it will have like everything to run a business in there. But yeah, back to
Shows
your
that you love it.
question.
It shows that you love it. If anybody's had a look at your stuff, they'll know.
Yeah. Back to your question though, I had a client last year who she was very skeptical about natural medicine, and she came in and she's like, my grandmother saw a naturopath and she took all these herbs and she did all this and I don't want to do that. Like she was very much like, don't give me 1,000 supplements, don't give me the herbal medicine, all of that kind of thing. I was a bit daunted, but she'd been suffering from Hashimoto's for a really long time, for decades, to the point where she would need a 3 hour, 4 hour nap every day because she was so fatigued. Severe constipation as well, and brain fog, like all the symptoms of Hashimoto's. But she was on thyroid medication, and everything was in range technically on her blood test, so she was very confused. And so she came to me. She was had didn't really have a lot of faith. I don't think she kind of was just there. She's like, oh, I just want to see what you have to say. Like, I don't know if this is gonna work. But she became one of my most loyal customers, and she kept booking in just to have a chat. And I gave her a few pieces of evidence-based advice. I told her all the evidence, which helped her like feel more confident in what I was recommending. And it was I think 3 or 4 months later that she actually booked in and came in and told me, I'm not even here for advice. I'm just here to tell you that you've changed everything for me, and I am so grateful. And I don't know, it still hasn't really
I'm
sunk
like
in when
tearing
people
up. Oh my gosh.
like it, I don't know, when I say it, like, oh, okay, like it doesn't, like I'm still trying to believe that in myself that okay, I actually made a difference. But for someone who was so skeptical of natural medicine, like she took my advice on board and it really affected her whole life. Like she doesn't need to take naps anymore. She has energy. She has regular bowel motions. Like her life has completely changed. And it just made me really confident, like, hey, natural medicine does have a lot of things to share with people, and we are here to do that. We are here to help people, and we're not going to help everyone, but the people who find us are meant to be there for us. Yeah.
Bless her. And like far out. Just how amazing that you get to be a part of that and you like that you changed that lady's life.
Yeah, I guess.
What
So
do
yeah,
you mean? Yeah, I guess. Like, oh my gosh,
sorry. No,
that's
I know.
huge. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's kind of surreal, so it's hard to, yeah, it's that's why I said it's easier to think about the things that aren't going right, but I need to focus on those kind of stories to keep me going and remind myself that I'm doing the right thing.
That's the you live in the dream. That's it. Like helping people and you're doing it. You're out there and you're doing it. I don't even have anything to say. I was tearing up. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
So overwhelmed. That's amazing.
oh,
And inspiring for me, as a student still.
yeah.
I can't freaking wait to get out there and do what you do. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. I think I would also just like to add, just for something that I wish I had known back as a student, but when I saw that client, like in my head, I didn't know what was gonna, like I didn't have complete confidence that my advice was going to work. And so a lot of the time I will be sitting there and like I do know like theoretically things are going to support, but because I haven't seen thousands of clients yet, like I don't have that lived experience. So even with that one client, like I was kind of like, oh, okay, I might never see her again. Like I don't know if it's gonna happen, if it's gonna work, or if it's gonna do anything. She's not gonna believe in natural medicine anymore. So I think like we're always gonna have those doubts, and I just wanted to add that in so you don't have to feel like you know all the answers. Like gentle pieces of advice can be life-changing, and you never know when it's gonna work, kind of thing.
So beautifully said. And I love I think it was your masterclass I heard it and it was like the first time I'd actually heard you don't have to know every single thing and stop having that expectation of yourself that you're going to come throughout your degree and even when you graduate that you're going to know absolutely every single thing because
Yeah,
it's impossible. Like this is a
exactly.
lifelong learning and every day
Yeah,
new information comes out. And not only that, there's just you might completely focus on one area, but there's a whole bunch of other areas that you need to go and look at and learn from, like iridology and flower essences and Reiki
yeah,
and massage. There's something you can
yeah,
borrow from all of it, and it will just keep expanding you and expanding you. And be happy to be a student because it means that you get to grow and you get to become a better practitioner every single day.
exactly. Yeah. No, I have to remind myself of that too. It's great.
Yeah. It
Um,
it's hard in the
yeah.
trenches because we all just it comes from a place of we all just really want to do a really great job because we care
Yeah.
and we don't
Yes,
want
we care a lot.
to hurt anyone.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we care too much sometimes. Um, but every single doctor, every single nurse I know, they finish uni and they don't know what they're doing. Like people are thrown in the deep end. And from what I've learned from them is that they've learned everything on the job. And it's the same for naturopaths, just because we're not, doing clinical examinations and procedures like modern medicine. We have been taught the foundational knowledge and the theory, but we're actually still learning how to apply that as a practitioner. And that's going to take years and years. So the more you can engage with mentors, and I'm always on the online forums in the groups and asking for advice and things like that and watching webinars to learn new things. Like, yeah, we have to remember that the journey is going to be forever. Like, you're never going to be the best naturopath or the most knowledgeable. It really is constantly about being curious and having that beginner's mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that it would be beneficial to go and work like almost apprentice under somebody for a while rather than jump straight into practice? Or do you think, nah, get out there and start practicing and then just find some mentors and see how you go?
It really depends on your situation. Like my mum would always kind of encourage me, oh, maybe you should, work for someone else because that's very typical in every single industry. Most people will finish a degree and then go get a job somewhere and learn from them. Unfortunately for our industry, there's not a whole lot of opportunities for that. Like there's not a whole lot of jobs going around. And so I think if the opportunity had arisen that I could work for someone, I probably would have done so just so I could learn from them. But with my situation, I just kind of worked out that I just went straight into my own business. And yes, there's pros and cons to that, but also like there are ways around it. You can always pay for mentoring from a practitioner who has more experience than you. You can, yeah, always find ways of finding out information. And you don't have to act like you know everything for your clients. Like when people see you, they are going to be they're going to respect you more if you say, look, I don't actually know what's going on. I need to get mentoring for this. And then offer them like a complimentary session or like give them a discount or something like that, just to show that you actually do care. Like I had a very complex client almost a year ago and I had never experienced it before. I was like, whoa, this is a lot. But instead of freaking out in front of that client, I remained calm. I just gathered all the information I could from her. And then I was honest with her and I said, look, I want to get more mentoring, so I support you as best as possible. I gave her a few things to get started with, and then I was able to engage with another practitioner who has decades of experience and get that understanding, so I actually could help her better. So, like, you don't have to pretend you know everything. There's never going to be a situation where you're held at gunpoint and told, like, you need to know right now, kind of thing. So, yeah, just always reminding yourself that it's okay to be in whatever position you are. You don't have to be experienced in every single condition. It can be helpful to really focus on one or two conditions so you can get really good at those, but you'll always have people come into your clinic that you've never seen before, their conditions you've never seen before. And so, yeah, you're always learning.
And how beautiful for them as well to know that their practitioner is so honest with them to say, hey, look, I want to go and get some more senior help. You would do that if you were friggin' working on a ward somewhere and you needed senior help. You would go and say, hey,
Yeah.
I am going to go get some help with somebody that's more experienced so that I can give you the very best care. Like, put yourself in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
client's shoes for a second and go, hang on, like, this person genuinely has my best interest at heart because they're not lying to my face. They're not trying to be unsafe and by, you know, reaching outside of their scope. They're going and they're finding real, they're dedicating time and their energy into finding out and working with me. And that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, is there anything that you have maybe would have done differently or any shortcuts in your career that you would like to share with the students so far?
I think that expectation of starting a business at the start, I was completely online as well. So I intended to be an online based business. And then I realized it was really hard to get visibility. So I would have opened my in-person clinic sooner, or at least kind of engaged with other practitioners to have an in-person space here and there, or getting a bit of presence in person to help support that process. I think some of my early investments maybe didn't pay off, so I would have done that a bit differently. But I think overall, everything contributed to my growth and didn't have any work at the very beginning. Like was like fully in my business using the self-employment assistance and wasn't working casually or part-time because my job ended because I was working for the college as a pass leader. I think I would have done that differently by having another income source at the very beginning just to keep me in routine and keep earning money and not just like completely going into business. Like that was, looking back, that was a very strong decision.
Yep,
And
love
yeah, it worked for
it.
me at the time. It worked for me at the time, but it was a bit unrealistic. Yeah.
It makes sense though. Like you kind of need income to grow income. You need to invest. You need to be able to. It's nice to know that everything is not solely on this when you're spending so much time and so much energy and it's all consuming. So, and finally, have you got any like words of advice or pieces of wisdom that you just would like to Or just something you wish you knew before you started that you would like to share with other people that you've learnt on this beautiful journey so far?
Definitely like prioritizing yourself and not getting swept up in all the admin, all the things you can do. Like, there's always something you can do with a business, always something new you can introduce or something you can fix, something that's not working properly in your system. So it's really important to have that time to yourself. And I've been finding that recently, going for massages and doing my breath work and talking to other people who are in similar positions, focusing on my mindset work as well, because as I've kind of mentioned already, mindset I think is everything, and you really need to continually work on that and work through your limiting beliefs and work through the things that are holding you back financially and also clinically to make that growth as a practitioner. And so that journey is obviously going to be going on forever and ever. And you kind of get thrown into that when you're doing a degree, as we mentioned, like that's a personal development journey. But I really just try and prioritize all those things that I know support me to ensure that I can give back and to be my best because there's only so much I can give to other people, and I really need to look after myself.
So well said. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Olivia. Where can our audience find you if they want to know more about you?
I have my Instagram page, Olivia Grace Naturopathy. I'm also on Facebook and I have a website as well. And I also have my Study for Success Instagram and Facebook. I'm not as active on there, but there are a lot of resources on my website you can find to help you with your study journey. And yeah, I think that's it.
I'll link all of those below as always. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Olivia.
Maurice, thanks for having me.
You've been listening to a Danilura D Naturopathy production. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. As some of you already know, I'm no longer on social media. However, I do have a website linked in the description where you can sign up to my newsletter and can find a contact form to get in touch. I love receiving emails from you guys, letting me know how you're finding the show, your requests to be on the show, and even business collaborations and marketing opportunities. I do my best to reply to all of them each week. If you're loving what I do, please rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening, as it really helps with the visibility and to get us in the ears of other students. Thank you again for the support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!